Yo, what up? It's JSF, and I'm sure y'all see by the title, y'all see by, the thumbnail and everything, and what's on the screen. I want to talk about cameos today, and cameos are kind of trash, to be honest, and I want to make sure y'all understand what I mean when I say that, because I'm not saying the cameo system, like the idea of the cameo system itself is trash, even though if that's what you think, I understand why. Like if you're of the belief that, we should have never got cameos, we should have never did this is like not a good idea for Mortal Kombat, I'm not here to dispute, I'm not disagreeing with that. But my point is what they've done with the system, what they've done with the characters, how they've, you know, implemented a lot of them, how they balanced them or not balanced them is just terrible. And it's just a huge missed opportunity. It's another thing that's a huge problem with the game because the game has the potential. Like when we first played the game, right? When we first played the game, everybody was like, this game is so fun. You can do so much crazy shit with it. There's so much shit to lab. And I think a lot of people still think this game is fun in training mode. In training mode by yourself, the game is still fun to play. The problem is when you factor in playing against other humans that are trying to win and factor in playing online, and with the online being so terrible, right? The netcode being terrible, no type of Wi-Fi filter, 3 out of 5 rounds, all that type of shit. It's really, really terrible. But the thing is, the cameos are supposed to make the game more interesting, more fun, and give you more, give you more like, I don't want to say ideas, give you more opportunities, give different ways to play the game, give you a little more balance, give you, you know what I mean? Like you have, I'm trying to avoid just saying the word variation. That's why I'm kind of struggling here because I'm trying to avoid using that word because we know variation's a trigger word for Mortal Kombat players, but it's just like the variation system to me. They always say this shit with every game. Oh, there's gonna be so many different ways to play. You can pick this, play like this, play like this. But it always comes down to there's just one that's the best. There's one that's better than everything else. And before the patch, it was Cyrax, right? And Cyrax was universally considered to be the best cameo. There's no question. Cyrax was the best cameo in the game. Cool, wonderful. What did they do? They butchered Cyrax, and I know some people were happy about that. But if you were applauding the Cyrax nerfs, you got to understand that you're being really, really, really short-sighted because the problem that Cyrax represented still exists in the game. It's not as bad, but the problem is still there. And the problem is now that like Kung Lao is the best assist, and there are other cameos that other people are using because they work well with their character or that's the way they want to play. But it still is not a game where you can just pick any different cameo or you can play most different cameos and get to play the game how you want to play or a different way, right? It's like no matter what character you pick, there's like 2 cameos you can probably use. And with some characters, like let's say you're picking Kenshi, right? You should just play Sub-Zero. It's just the best way to play him, right? That's just what it is. There are certain characters where there's just one cameo where it's like, no, that's the cameo. If you're playing Liu Kang, you should pick Kung Lao. Like that's probably just the best way to play him, right? Some characters still Serena. Serena is still a cameo that's like usable by every character, and there's a couple of those, but that's it, right? There's too many cameos that are not really worth shit. Like, why would you pick Darius? Like, there are Reiko players who pick Darius, but Darius, that's not even a good assist for him. The only reason they do that is because if I get the grab, I get 60%. Ooh, and like, that's cool. I'm not knocking you if that's your game plan, but as soon as you pick him, we know what your game plan is. So it's already less effective because you're showing your hand at the select screen, right? We already know. And then most other characters, Darius is kind of shit. Not really any reason to pick him, right? Serena's good. Cyrax was butchered. Kano can do what Kano can do is all right on paper. Like it's good on paper, I guess. But there are other cameos, that do the same thing or do it better, right? Why pick Kano when I can pick Goro, right? You used to have Cyrax, which did the same thing. But yeah, Kano also takes away 50 health. And that's another thing. There are cameos that add health and take away health. And that's like kind of cute, I guess, but I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I mean, I disagree with health balancing in general. Other than like, hey, Zangief is a grappler in Street Fighter. He's big, he's slow, he's gonna have to take damage to get in, but when he gets in, he gets his shit off, right? Therefore, he has a little more health. I can see the logic there. I'm not mad at that. But for a game like Mortal Kombat, I think trying to balance by health in MK11 was a terrible idea and it didn't work. And in this game, they're doing the same thing. But also, they do it with a lot of the cameos too. And like, there's like 4 cameos, I think, 3 or 4 that take away health, and Jax is the only one that adds health. He also has an unblockable. He also has an EX throw, and he also has like a safe string ender if you need that sort of thing. So it's like, the balance is very, very skewed. Where it's like, why would I ever pick Motaro? He doesn't have a launcher. He has a neutral assist with a shit ton of startup, and he has a projectile reflect that is not immediate. It has startup, and with how fast projectiles are, you can't use it reliably against a lot of the projectiles in the game. You got to use it preemptively, and then they just won't throw the projectile. So it's not that good. And then he has his teleport, which it's more of a gimmick than an actual strength. But he takes 50 health. Shujinko, I've already made a video about his worst cameo in the game. As soon as they showed him off, he was the worst cameo in the game. And people can argue, no, Shujinko, if you... No. You already have to work harder to use Shujinko than any other cameo. And then once you actually do the shit and get a move, you get to use 1 or 2 cameos, and it's based on who you're fighting against. So you have very, very, very limited control over the cameo. And he has to fucking charge up. Like, what? Like, that is awful. Right? Sub-Zero is serviceable. Sub-Zero is not a bad cameo. He's useful in some matchups, but he's not amazing. So again, like Scorpion, he's useful for some characters, but not amazing, right? Striker, a lot of people are starting to turn towards Striker in the meta, because you hear like Sonic Fox saying, yo, I'm playing Striker with this character, it's hella fun, all this type of shit. And Striker just allows you to just do shit. The problem with Striker is it's inconsistent. Like, the timing is awkward, the hitboxes are awkward. So like, I've seen like Reptile Striker, some people can play it really, 1 or 2 people can play it really well, but I run into it a lot in Combat League, and it's just like Reptile players doing random unsafe move and calling Striker. And it's like, that when people know what you're doing with that, it's not really real unless you really, really tighten it up and you got real tech. But a lot of people are gonna just pick it and just do shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just funny, man. Like, it's funny because you just look at this list. It's only 15 cameos. 15 is not a small number, but you look at it and like 10 of them are not really viable, right? It's like, it's crazy to me. Like, it's just, why are all the cameos so bad? And this is why I didn't want Cyrax to get nerfed into the ground, because he was one of the only cameos that was good. And I think the bigger issue with Cyrax wasn't even that like his horizontal chopper was so busted, because it was really good, but it was like the moves you could do into it were also really fucking stupid. Raiden's Storm Cell, the electric bubble, was really stupid. Scorpion's fucking spear spin was really fucking stupid. Baraka's fucking spinning move, like all these fucking spinning moves with 100 active frames that do hella chip damage. It's like, fam, if you just nerfed the chip on all those moves and added more recovery to all those moves, you wouldn't have even needed to change Cyrax. But instead, they're like, oh, it's Cyrax. Not knowing that Raiden can still do 20% damage to you on block without Cyrax. So, like, you know what I mean? Did it fix the problem? A little bit. But it kind of just redirected shit. Like, it didn't just overall get rid of something. All it did was get rid of Cyrax. So, okay, cool. Now there's one less cameo to play. And, like, in a game like this, if you want to make a game that's like a versus game, that's gonna have some wacky, crazy shit in it, you're gonna need to buff more than you nerf. And I know this is the argument everybody says, don't nerf. No, some things need to be nerfed. They need to be toned down a little bit. But you should buff less, or you should nerf less and buff more. So you should raise the power level of the game. If the power level is Cyrax, since he's fucking crazy, okay, cool. What's a cameo that's not as good as Cyrax? How about Darius? Okay, how can we buff Darius? How can we buff Sonya? How can we buff Frost, right? What can we do to make these other cameos, like, better? You know what I'm saying? Like, what can we do for that? Like, if that's our, like, that'll be a better, like, plan of attack, bro. And then, like, we're getting 5 cameos with the combat pack, but the fact that the cameos are releasing after the characters, I'm sure they're gonna stagger it. But it's like, we're getting our first character, what, a month and a half, our first DLC character a month and a half after the game came out, and then our first cameo will be 2 months after the game came out. So it's like, damn, with 2 months to get one more cameo that hopefully shakes up the meta. But then let's say Trimmer's the best cameo in the game, then now we're all just gonna pick Trimmer, and then we're still gonna have 14, 13 other cameos and nobody's using. Like, it's gonna be the same problem. And it's just like, damn, bro. It's such a wasted opportunity. It's like, there's so many bad cameos that could be good. There's so many different, and I mean, at this point, it's too late to like change out what the moves are and shit like that. But there's so many wasted opportunities, things they could have done that they just didn't do. And then you can like buff and change some things. Like, I play Sonya cameo with Katana, right, a lot of the time. And the reason I do, because like Sonya has a 14% grab, and I'm like, that's really good. You do 140 damage, right? Most cameos can't, they do like 11, 12, 13% on the throw, right? And then you have something like Jax and Cyrax that can spin meter and combo off a throw. Like, that's a cool additional thing to add. And it's like, add some more little additional mechanics to certain cameos, or make some of them real reversals. You have like Sub-Zero, Serena, Kung Lao, who have like a reversal cameo, but it's not fucking real. You can just get hit out of it. It's not like true invincibility. It's an extension of the wake up invincibility, or you know what I mean? Like, you can use it in a block string if there's enough like if there's a gap there and they commit to something, but like, it's not like a real wake up. Like, if you got a real wake up attack with a certain cameo, that might encourage you to use it more, right? Like, hey, this cameo's not that great, but I got a reversal. Like, I can do a wake up attack and get you the fuck off of me safely. Like, that is a strong thing to have, right? But again, it seems like they're like double dutching. They don't want a hard commit to giving one cameo something, and they did it with Cyrax and that turned out horrible. So I guess they probably really aren't gonna do it now. And the other thing is, there's certain cameos like Sector, like Striker, like Kung Lao to a degree, that just allow you to play the game in a very, very degenerate way. Or like Goro, right? Like Goro Tanya. Like, I don't think Tanya's that great as a character. I don't think she's terrible. I don't think she's that great. But if you give her a cameo like Lao or like Goro especially, you can just play the game in such a degenerate way. You're just like, you know what? I'm gonna just do full screen drill, call Goro, and make it safe. I'm gonna wake up with my armor attack, call Goro, make it safe. Like, and then just run away from you until they have Goro. And then once they have Goro like loaded back up, it's like, all right, now you gotta sit here and wait to see if they're gonna do this unreactable full screen special move. And if it's safe, so why not do it? It's the same with Kung Lao, right? I got a bar meter, fucking EX Shaolin Shimmy, EX Lunge Punch, right? Call Goro. If it hits, combo. If it doesn't, I'm plus. It's like, it's nonsense. And even if, well, Kung Lao is just a problem in itself, because even if he doesn't have Goro, that shit's safe, which is goofy as hell. But like, it's just the way a lot of this shit is designed. It's like, oh man. And there are ways to go about it, but I don't, well, fuck what I think. I know that they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to balance it. They didn't think this far ahead, or they just don't know how to do it. They're just incompetent at their jobs, and it sucks. And I don't mean to be ranting and rambling, but like, this is the type of shit I be thinking about when I'm playing this game. I'm like, damn, man, this is such a wasted opportunity. Like, you could have done, like, cameos has so much potential, and this is why I understand that people will say this is a terrible idea for this game, because it's the potential to break the game, which we've seen multiple times with Sindel. The potential to make the game more interesting, more fun, like cooler combos and shit, down to into a fucking Sonya assist into a full combo. That shit is awesome. I love it. There are some things that I really like about the cameo system, but overall, I think they're fumbling it just like they're fumbling the game overall. But what do y'all think, man? Do y'all agree? Do y'all disagree? Do y'all think that do you think there are more viable cameos than I think? Because I think there's some that like bound to a certain character, like Melina Sector might work, but overall Sector doesn't really, he isn't great for most of the cast, right? Like Darius Reiko might work, but other than that, Darius is terrible for pretty much any other character in the game. And if you just look at what's on the screen, you say like, Serena, Lao, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, maybe Striker, like that's like it. Like every other cameo is like, or Jax, you know what I mean? It's like, other than that, it's like every other cameo is like, why would I pick them? If like, it shouldn't be 5 or 6 out of 15 that are like viable, unless you play this specific character this specific way. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I appreciate y'all for watching. Y'all stay safe. JSF, I'm outie. Peace.